So tonight I want to talk to you guys about a man and a woman's relationship. And when I say a man, I'm talking about a provider. When I say a woman, I'm talking about those women that dream of that family, those children, and how those two can collide, right? When you're talking about a real man. Um, as I talk about this, just now I'm thinking about a conversation or a video that I saw with Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey was talking about, he was on his show and a woman stood up and she asked the question, "Hey, Steve, what should I do in this situation?" And the situation was she had a man that uh, she loved and he loved her, but they were no longer together. And they were no longer together because at the time that she was ready for a ring, he wasn't ready. And from the sounds of it, and this is just my assumption, maybe he didn't do a good enough job explaining to her why he wasn't ready, and maybe he just left it at he wasn't ready, or maybe she just took it as he doesn't want to marry me. I don't know. I don't know the details of that, but I know that in that video, Steve Harvey asked, or she asked Steve Harvey, he's been reaching back out to me. I don't know how I should handle this. And Steve Harvey asked the question of, was he a good guy? And she's like, yeah, but he didn't want to commit to marriage. And Steve Harvey goes on to explain how men and women have a very different biological clock, right? A woman has a biological clock that thinks about marriage and thinks about children. But a man's clock, a real man's clock, is focused on providing, providing and supporting that wife and children, right? A man, most men genuinely don't want to have to tell a woman no. You know what I mean? We want to be able to uh, we want to be able to support your dreams. We want to be able to support, uh, the lifestyle that you want to live. We want to be able to do those things because we're providers, right? That's just our nature. And so sometimes that can be taken out of context when a man says he isn't ready. It's not him saying that he isn't ready to love you, to care for you, but he's not in that space that he needs to be mentally to take care of you. So for him, he's not ready. It's not that he's not ready to put the ring, it's that he's not ready financially. The same way a woman looks at needing to be ready before she has kids, needing to have XYZ in place, needing to, find somebody to love and care for, needing to have a ring. A man needs to have a certain level of financial. He needs his dream job. He needs his dream career. He needs uh he needs to feel secure enough to take care of the people that he loves. Those are real men, those are real providers, and I think is too many times in this modern day world that we forget that because it's just too much going on in the world that makes you think that everything should be right now and everything should be in this moment and that you got to be in a rush, right? So I think it's really, really important. And I also think it's really important to do this video because, I had this really, really great conversation with an old friend of mine. And I mean, in his situation, he stepped away from a long term relationship, a woman that he loves dearly. And he did that because they're at the point where it's like it's time to have kids and it's time to get married. And he doesn't feel whole. He doesn't feel as if he is in a place to where he can provide for a family. And for a man, a real man, a real provider, that is a very rough place to be in, right? That is mentally an unsafe place for a real provider, right? I think that's a place where dark things can happen for him. And so it's very important for him, and I understood it so clearly. It's very important for him to go out here and hey man, I got to take these next couple of months. I have to have no distractions, and no distractions. Even though from a woman's perspective or anybody's perspective, you say hey, I don't need no distractions, the first thing that person's gonna think is, oh, you calling me a distraction. No, we're not calling you a distraction. We're calling the things that you may want to do a distraction, right? You want to take a trip. Right now, I'm not trying to take no trips, right? You want to go to this 5-star restaurant. Right now, I'm not trying to go to no 5-star restaurants. Right now, I am trying to grow and build an empire that I see in my mind. It's a vision I've had all my life. Help me, help me by respecting what I'm trying to do. So you can do one or two things in that. You can either say, you know what do you need me to do? And seldom do women do that. Instead, they pout and they're like, oh, well, I want to get married and I want a ring on my finger. Not hearing, right, that and understanding that, well, what I'm saying is, in order to get that ring on your finger, I need help. I need you to help me to grow and build because I need to feel completed as a man before I can even feel secure enough as a man to take on the responsibility of a woman and my children. So I guess what I'm really saying, like, is for the women out there, if you hear that from a man that you look at as truly a provider, hopefully this video helps you to like gain understanding, right? Because this is the thing that us men go through. We go through this place where it's like we don't want to let you down. We want to do these things for you, but doing these things can put us in a real situation, right? Financially. And what I mean by financially, a person can have a decent job, right? But that's not their goal, and their dream is something else. And now taking all these trips, taking 3-4 trips a year, hanging out, doing XYZ, is taken away from me being or that person being able to stack their money up to get to that next level. See, lingering in the same space for somebody that has that drive is a dangerous place. People with that hunger, with that thirst, with that drive, they can't stay stagnant too long because stagnant to them could be failure to them. And failure to them can lead them in a really, really dark place mentally. So make sure you're supporting that man. And this is vice versa too. Don't get me wrong. I'm speaking from a man's perspective, but a woman can need these very same things, right? In order to grow, build, and become who they need to be in a relationship. All right. But make sure you're taking the time to understand your partner, understand what drives them, and push them in that direction. I remember seeing Grant Cardone, Miss Cardone. I don't know, I don't remember her first name, but Miss Cardone talk about her relationship with Grant and how Grant was already a millionaire, and she was like, and I'm paraphrasing, "That's great, but you need to go be a billionaire." She said he was pissed, and for a while he was upset about it. And then she explained that the reason why she told him that was because she knew that he had it in him, and he had that hunger, he had that dog in him. And she said, because I knew that, I know that if he isn't working at a level that is going to basically, uh, give him the feeling that he needs, the feeling of accomplishment that he needs, then he's like a ticking time bomb. And he's going to explode on the things closest to him. And she was the thing closest to him. And so she didn't want that. So she had to push him to the next level. I think that's the best way I can explain this. Is sometimes you got to put those things on the back burner. And the problem with today's world is we want instant gratification for everything, right? We want to get a job on Monday, buy a house on Tuesday, start a family meet a person on Wednesday, start a family on Thursday, and be married by Friday. And that way of living is just not sustainable. So take the time, learn your partner. If you have a provider, work to build that provider And the way that you can help do that is by helping them become the man that they need to be for themselves so they can be the man that they need to be for you. Blessings. Peace.